let's show you what's actually going on here. Uh-oh. That's a problem with the starter. Maybe we have two problems, but this is the one I wanted to show you. That battery light right there is coming on. Now let me rev it up a little bit. See that? If you get that alternator excited, moving a little bit faster, it'll start charging. But it's not consistent. So it looks like we're gonna have to replace it. Let's test it before that and see what's actually happening here. I'm going to follow the instructions. We're going to 2500. Alright, let's start with disconnecting the negative battery terminal. I don't want any kind of light show happening while I'm doing this job. Alright, this stuff is disabled now, so I can unhook it without getting burned. This little guy covers the charging cable. That's your fat wire, your high amp, high current. There we go. This job should go pretty fast. Not a whole lot involved here. The testing it actually could take longer than the job itself, or the putting the job off could take longer than the job itself. I've been driving this thing, ooh, I'm a little ashamed to say, probably a couple of months now. Every day, this is my daily driver. Trying to pull this little tab there. I think I got it. There we go. All right, so that right there. Can you see this? This is just for the AC clutch. I was just hooked to that. We gotta save this because the new alternator doesn't come with it. All right, let's move way back here. See that guy there? That is the belt tensioner, 19 millimeter. Yep, so I've been driving for a couple of months with that light flickering, and finally I decided I don't want to walk. So might as well change the alternator. The alternator's been sitting here in the garage for about that much time. Ordered it from Rock Auto. It came in within days and just been sitting here ever since. All right, so the belt, it's right there. I'm just gonna leave it. Belt tensioner's kind of hanging out. I've got two bolts on this thing. One is up here and one down below. Let me crack them loose. Top one's gonna be 12. Bottom one is 14. Ooh wee. Wow. That bottom one's got some Loctite or something. 250,000 miles of corrosion maybe. Okay, now that they're cracked loose, I can just spin them off with this, make it a little faster. All right, we got her loose here, so let's go ahead and pull this alternator out. Try not to get in the way of that harness here. It's got a little bit of friction on that bottom bracket. I'll show you why in a second. Let me see if I can get this thing wiggled out. Okay, she's out. This little bracket piece here is the reason why it was a little bit tight coming out. You can see right there, it's a bit proud, so it's gonna go on real tight. Let me show you the new one. All right, here's the new one. It's pushed all the way back. It's good and flush, so I can put it right on that bracket, and it shouldn't be as hard getting it on as it was coming off. I'll come right over here, show you what I'm taking off here. This bracket is what we got the AC compressor clutch off of, and that nut needs to come off so we can transfer it to this new alternator. See if I can get that box end on there. This thing is real tight in there. There we go. Okay, this little bracket is going to go right here. Let me take this nut off of the new one. Wow. Shaky up a little bit. Alright, that goes just like that. Easy enough. Put the new nut back where it goes. Alright. If this was my wife's car or my daughter's or somebody else I knew, I would most likely get this thing fixed right away. I don't have an answer for why I wait when it's my car. It's just kind of how I do it. Alright, we have a hole there right on top of the somewhat new AC compressor. I did a video about that a couple of years ago. I was sick of driving this thing in the heat, especially now that we're here in Florida. So I got that fixed. Let's get this thing kind of snaked in through all this wiring. And you'll see just down here where this bracket is supposed to go, needs to straddle that. There we go. Okay, and on this side, I'm just pushing it behind that little hole there. See, and we'll put the bolt there. Had to go after that bee that was buzzing around my head. Okay, AC clutch harness. Just gonna put it right back here on its little tab. Where's it go? Right there. Here's the control harness for the alternator. Plug that little guy back in. And there's that. That's your big one. I'm just going to put the old nut back on it to screw it in. This doesn't need to be very tight. Just snug. Okay, here is my safety cover. Safety third. Pop that back on. Give it a click. Now we can go for the belt. And that's it. Let's go ahead and test it out. And we're going to test the charging system one more time to make sure we're doing all right. There we go. Let's go inside. All right, we are going to do the charging test. Well, that's a good sign. We got 14.4, just what we need. And that's just at idle here. And we can increase the speed. Here we go. Perfect. No more battery light. This thing is good. I just had to look under the hood to make sure that serpentine belt was routed correctly, and it is, so we are good to go. Now, if you have any questions about your Corolla and doing this job, just leave a comment down below and I'll answer your questions the best I can. Now, if you have any questions about the tools that I'm using, you can click right up here. That's my Amazon tool store. It's got all the tools that I recommend, including that serpentine belt tool, which is great. I really think you're gonna love it. Check those out, and I'll see you next time.